This is Michael Markham, and he may be the first person ever to accidentally create a time machine. The year is 1995, and Michael from Stanberry, Missouri was known as the local backyard inventor. He often created many wild inventions and prototypes at home. His latest contraption he was working on was a Jacob's ladder. He specifically created his own transformer for it that could generate up to 20,000 volts for this build, and also used laser emitters from a few CD players he had lying around the house. After turning on the device, he noticed an odd circular energy field emitting from above the Jacob's ladder. Perplexed by this, Michael thought of what it could be. After a while, he decided to throw some metal screws he had lying around into the field to see what would happen. Astonishingly, after throwing one of them into the field, the screw disappeared for a few seconds, then reappears, falling to the ground a few feet away. Mike was astounded at what he had witnessed. He didn't know exactly what was going on, but thought he had created some sort of teleportation device. He continued to throw more screws into the field and kept getting the same results. After a while of doing this, his creation overloaded and died. But Mike knew he was onto something, and being the determined inventor he was, he wanted to build an even bigger version this next time. His first build was around 1.5 feet tall, but his next build, he wanted it to be around 8 feet tall. But in order to build a bigger version, he needed a lot more power. Mike had all the components he needed to make his new build, except due to the amount of power needed for version 2, he wouldn't be able to build his own transformer this time around. He needed something made for industrial use. He called local companies and searched everywhere online, but couldn't find a transformer that could handle the power output he needed that he could afford. Mike felt defeated and thought that he possibly might not be able to continue with his creation, but one day Mike was driving by his local city power station and noticed that they had 6 industrial use transformers that were currently not in use sitting off to the side. A light bulb goes off in Mike's head. He figures that since they're not in use anymore, that the city won't notice them being gone. Mike gathers up a few of his friends, and with only a pickup truck, they go back to the King City, Missouri power station. They wait to see if the coast is clear, and then in broad daylight pick up the unused transformers and take them home. A few weeks later, Mike had his new machine built, fitted with all new components that could handle the power it needed. Eagerly, Mike went to start up his new monster of a device, and everything went black. His entire house lost power. Mike then went outside to see that he had also shut off the power for his entire neighborhood. Mike then took a few more days to tinker with his device to get it to work properly and finally achieves his goal. He was successfully able to bring back the energy field that appeared last time, only this time it was much larger and he could also sustain it for much longer now. Mike was so excited to start testing it again and started throwing objects into the field like last time, only this time when he threw an object into the field, they were not reappearing again. Mike was so elated that his machine was working again, he invited his friends over to show them the device, and they were stunned when they saw it. They continued to throw objects into the energy field and even threw a small couch into it. After a few hours of using the device, there was a knock at the door. Mike opens the door and the police are there with a search warrant for Mike's arrest. Apparently Mike's neighbors had called the police on him and they somehow found out that Mike was the one who stole the transformers from the power station. Mike was sentenced to 60 days in jail with 5 years of probation, and he also lost his machine. While Mike was in jail, the local news ran a story on him which became very popular and got the attention of many people, but most importantly got the attention of legendary talk show host Art Bell of Coast to Coast AM.
From the high desert and the great American Southwest, I bid you all good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome.
After Mike served his jail time, Art Bell invited Mike onto the show to tell his story. Art gave him the nickname Mike Madman Markham, and his story reached millions of viewers all across the globe. People grew to like Mike for his unique humbleness and creative ingenuity.
Yeah.
How old are you, Michael?
21.
21. Pretty young.
Yeah, very.
What's that? Why did this begin in the first place? What were you trying to do in the first place?
Originally I just set out to make a fancy Jacob's ladder, and this was like what it turned out to be. I didn't like.
Right, a lot of people don't know what a Jacob's ladder is. Tell them what it is.
Simply, in a nutshell, it's like 2 metal rods with a spark going up in between it, and once it reaches the top, it starts back to the bottom again.
he started to develop a fan base. People from all over wanted to help Mike in his quest to finish what he started, including financial help, and one person even offered him an entire warehouse he could use to work in as long as he paid the power bill. Mike decided he was going to build another version of his machine, and this one was going to be his biggest one yet. His third version he built stood at 15 feet tall and was producing more than 3 million volts of electricity. That's 150 times more powerful than his version 1 build. He also created a new way for the energy field to appear using a spinning array of magnetic balls that creates something he calls a plasma tornado. Mike once again had gotten his machine working and started doing tests on it. He began putting in different objects into the vortex and they once again started disappearing, except this time with enough testing, he found out that they weren't actually disappearing completely. They would go away for a bit and then reappear 50 to 100 yards away from the test site. Mike started to become so confident in his experiments that he started to feel comfortable enough to put small animals through it like mice and hamsters, and they would always show up alive 50 to 100 yards away. Mike had ended up doing over 200 different tests on his machine with a variety of things, and there was only one test left to do: himself. One day by himself, Mike decided to go into the energy field that he had created for the first time. Mike entered in with his whole body, saw a flash, and then everything went dark. Mike woke up in a field with one of the worst migraines of his life, and on top of that, he had no recollection or memory of what had happened. He didn't even know his own name. He started walking until he hit the first town he could find. He found out that he was in a town called Fairfield in Ohio, over 800 miles east of where his machine was in Missouri. While in the town, he found a newspaper, read the date, and realized he was 2 years into the future. Mike's memory slowly started to return to him, but he had no way of getting home or anyone to contact, so he ended up staying in Ohio for a while, working odd jobs here and there until he made enough money to go back to Missouri. When he finally was able to return to his warehouse, everything was gone. His time machine, research papers, list of contacts, everything. Devastated, Mike finally went back on to Coast AM one last time to tell Art Bell everything that's happened since.
You jump. And then what?
Well, long story short, it feels like I got hit with a flashbang, and I wake up and I'm 800 miles east of there, and 2 years later. So that's basically, there ain't no other way to put it.
800 miles.
He tells Art that he plans on recreating his machine one last time, but this time he plans on going through it while inside what is basically a cylindrical Faraday cage that can stop him from losing his memory, and he also plans on bringing some devices with him. Art is extremely excited for him and looks forward to what is to come. Some time goes by and Art tries to reach out to Mike and gets no response. No one can find where Mike is. Art eventually goes out to Mike's warehouse in Missouri to look for any sign of Mike and finds nothing. Mike hasn't been heard of since.